diving pool, and we will have the girls B platform preliminary rounds. And we are joined with a good friend of mine.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michele Benedetti from Team Italy here. Joining Matty here for a nice competition. I'll be with you guys for a couple of rounds, and enjoying a different view from this beautiful pool.
Absolutely, it is an absolutely stunning view we have over the pool.
We got 30 divers in this second event of the morning. The ladies, 14 and 15 years old, they are going to show us 7 rounds of dives. The first 4 are voluntary dives. That means we're going to have easier dives. The maximum degree of difficulty for the first 4 dives is 7.6, no matter where you are going to compete your first 4 dives, because as a reminder for the people that might be new with diving, don't know much about diving, a little review of the rules. We're going to have 30 divers, 7 rounds. 4 ones are voluntaries. The remaining 3 rounds, no limit in the degree of difficulty. And the young divers can use any of the platforms, 5, 7.5 meters or 10-meter platform.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be interesting. I've seen the practice just now, and also during the week, a lot of hard dives for such young divers.
Absolutely. I've been really impressed with the young divers. When I was in Group B, we didn't, especially on the boys event, just gone on 3 meter. I haven't, we had some 3.5 pikes. We have some reverse 2.5 pikes. I was never doing that at that age, so it's really impressive to see some really hard dives from the young kids.
Yeah, that's being a coach, I can tell you in the past 10 to 15 years. I don't want to talk about when I was in the big group. We're talking in the 90s. So that's a long time ago. But let me tell you, in the past 10 years, the level has improved a lot. I got to say, for a short period of time, COVID hit really bad. Like the development, the evolution of the sport, especially at the young age. But I was really impressed with all the dives that young divers are performing here. I've seen very hard dives, it wasn't common until 10 years ago. A lot of a big number of divers at 14, 15 years old being up on 10 meters doing 3.5s. It requires a lot of work.
Really does. I did most of my dives on like 7.5 meters.
Me too. I'm that old that back in the days, we as a B group, so 14, 15 years old, we were not allowed yet to compete on 10 meters at age group competitions.
Really?
They opened up for B groups, so the age group that we're about to go watch on platforms, they opened up the 10-meter platform competitions later on when I was already done with the juniors. So before that, B group was only 5 meters and 7.5 meters. That's when I was 14, 15 years old. I mean, I'm old, but not that old. I'm just 42.
You're not
even
ancient.
42. But see, it made diving evolve much faster, because in order to have a diver that at 14, 15 years old is already doing optional dives on 10 meters, it means that when they're already 8, 9, 10 years old, their skills is a very high level.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to start doing everything a bit earlier, a bit before. But it's good. It's a good way to keep the level high and to see changes in the development and evolution in the sport that, if not, could become boring for the viewers.
Absolutely.
So it's also for the kids doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to keep up the work and give them something exciting to work on every day, not make it flat. The kind of the daily routine and the monthly routine as well, like throughout the season.
Yeah, it can get very repetitive.
Yes,
training.
exactly. And so having to do something new kind of triggers the athlete to improve, and not only improve, but keep up with the good work. That's kind of the idea.
And these divers, they're pushing each other. If one diver is learning a really difficult dive and competes it, and all the other competitors are going to see that and think, oh, that's where we need to reach for now.
Yep. I remember when that happened at the senior level, at the high stage, when back in the days, the first if we take, for example, platform, when I was young and I started doing the 10 meters. So we're talking 1999, 2000, 2001, and the first forward 4.5s at the Sydney Olympics in 2000. The first back 3.5 pikes. I remember British divers Peter Waterfield and Leon Taylor doing the back 2.5 somersault 2.5 twist in around 2004 for the Athens Olympics, and in increasing the degree of difficulty. That always it's needed in the sport. It keeps the whole system, the whole diving movement, pushing it, moving forward, and pushing it every day. It's really good to have a group of divers in your own pool that follows maybe a pioneer or the most talented. It brings the whole group up, so that's really good.
Absolutely.
We are about to start here today. Again, 30 divers is going to be quite long, but very, very good. I've seen, as I was saying before, I've seen really hard dives. I also seen, though, one diver, which I personally do not recall the name, but right before the end of practice, almost got lost. And this is Mac too hard, but definitely did not get the dive she wanted right before. And that could be interesting to watch again during the competition, because they're very young. I got to say, a lot of them, while we see that we're starting now, not very well experienced. So let's see how that works during the competition.
We have Layla on the 10-meter board representing Egypt. Full dive pike.
And not the strongest jump ever, but definitely a good line in the entry. You see how good that rip entry was. It's the main thing a platform diver wants to do.
Yep.
As you well know.
Yeah, 100%. It's the last thing the judges see. It's really important to try and get a clean finish as much as possible.
Yara now from Egypt as well. We got the first two divers, or the two Egyptians. Egypt, that is, has never brought at World Junior Championships such a big team.
Oh, amazing.
They never had, I remember back in the days, they always showed up, but not with such a big crowd, big team. It means that the movement is improving. The numbers, first of all, and it's good to see. Africa is not common to be a big continent in the diving, on the diving world. So it's good. It's good to see that. We've seen also this week South Africa here, so that was good. And look at her, Alexandra Puz. She's one of the most talented big group divers in Europe. I've seen her dive at Junior Europeans earlier this season in June. Look at that perfect entry, very nice line. He's gonna score high. I gotta say, I was impressed. She's just first year in the B group, so she's just 14.
Wow.
And I see for her a bright future ahead, because very, very talented.
We have Ludmila from Brazil on the 7.5 meter board, choosing to do a twist dive.
First, it's not common.
No.
Not common. We've seen all the others starting with a forward somersaulting dive, and starting with a twist. It's up to them. I mean, everyone does what they feel is better. Look at what that was very well executed. Very good jump, straight up and down with their upper body when the takeoff happens, and a perfect legs line in the entry. Beautiful dive.
Absolutely.
She takes the lead. Also takes the lead because the higher degree of difficulty. Obviously, this dive has a 2.0 degree of difficulty, and it helps to score more points. Another team that I'm impressed with, since I saw them in June in Budapest at the Junior European Championship, is Team Hungary. They are completely taking advantage of the beautiful Duna Arena complex in Budapest, and the team has stepped up significantly in the past few years.
That's the importance of, for example, the 2017 World Championships were held in Hungary, in Budapest, and that gives the opportunity of these young locals to watch the event, and they get inspired, and now we're seeing that investment giving back to their country.
Paying off, for sure. one of the divers from Hungary, Luca, she actually was second or third at Junior Europeans. She's not diving here because of a little injury to the knee. She just decided to dive on springboard here at the World Junior Championship. But she did great and took medals for Hungary after a long time since Hungary got the last medals at Junior Europeans. So, yeah, the investment pays off. A good dive by Veronica here from Ukraine. I think she was doing the back to half somersault earlier in practice and struggling with it right before the competition. So we'll see if she will compete it at the very last round. Let's see if she fixed the problems in it during the last minutes of practice.
A lot of divers, they'll put some of the hardest dives last.
Yeah.
To give that extra bit of oomph.
Yeah, it's the tactic. It's either the strategy is either the one I struggled with the most with, I keep it for last, or the one I know I'm gonna score the most. Usually, my strategy was to use the best one I had and keep the hardest one or the ones I struggle with in the middle of the competition, kind of to hide them there.
Yeah.
Some others, I had a teammate back in the days that used his worst dive at the very beginning, and that happens with at Senior Europeans. It happened last week in Paris with a French diver used the back somersaulting dive in the first round, and then made a comeback to make it to the final in prelims because it was last, I think, after the first round. We saw an amazing dive by Chinese diver Jiang Yuan, a beautiful forward 1.5 somersault pike. Very, very nice.
Yeah, going through the water so cleanly. That rip entry.
Well, she did that for 1.5 somersault with an approach, with a run up on the platform. That's once again something that each diver decides. It's kind of like the school of diving from their country. What the technique is changes a little bit. The dive is the same. The way they perform it might change, and that's completely up to them. That the judges don't score based on what technique they use, as long as the dive is beautiful.
Absolutely. It's quite old school.
Yeah, the run up. Yeah,
I really enjoy watching it.
Yeah, I used to do it for a while with the run up, the volunteer, the 4.5 somersault, because I was also competing the forward full twist, so I was doing it back to back and using the run up. But usually nowadays not as often. Daria Polyakova, another nice 4.5 somersault pike, very lined up. In these easy dives is very important to cure the details, make sure all the little details give you that extra half a point. That could make the difference at the end of the day.
Absolutely, because obviously the required scores, if you make it through to the final, they carry over, so it can give you that extra.
Oh, beautiful entry. That's another dive that usually divers don't start with.
Yeah.
Back dive pike off the 10 meters. That was a perfect lineup, a great entry, but quite tight to the platform.
Yes. I was never a fan of competing that dive because you kind of do have to press your feet towards the board.
I have never done that dive on 10 meters. I've done the back 3.5, tuck and pike, but never back dive pike. It scared me.
I don't blame you.
And now Russian diver.
Margarita Nova.
Another 4.5 somersault pike for her. The view is beautiful with the sea right behind her. I've never seen the pool from this high. I'm usually down on deck, and the view is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's a nice setup, and a beautiful sunny day today. We struggled a little bit during the week with some storms. 7s and 6.5 for Margarita. Good dive. I was expecting a bit better in the air. The shape she got in the air while performing the dive wasn't probably what the judges liked the most. Angeleia Laho now on the platform.
Back dive pike. Representing Singapore.
Yeah, Singapore is another team that is has a beautiful pool. They had the World Championship last year.
Yep.
A beautiful training center. They for sure will want to improve the team, get better now that they have a perfect center to do so. It's getting getting a good team, developing a strong squad in diving requires a lot of things. First of all, the talent. You gotta have someone that finds the talent, because that's the thing you want to start with. And other than that, you want to have great coaches. You want to have a perfect pool. But the one thing that is very important in diving, one of the most things technically, is having a great gym. You guys see on TV divers performing dives, just jumping off a platform or a springboard, and you might think, as long as you have a little bit of water and you jump in, so you have there's behind the dive. You see, there's so much. There's a requirement of a great gym, great coaching, a lot of in the higher level, in the senior level, a strength coach, psychologist, nutritionist. There's so much behind.
We have Willow from Great Britain.
And she's also choosing an interesting dive to start with, a forward armstand.
Showing good control.
And slightly over. Too bad, because the armstand was very good. It's important for the divers to show the perfect balance on the platform. They want to show the judges that they can hold it perfectly. Don't shift anywhere. Just keep the balance. Too bad Willow kind of dropped her head down a little bit in the entering, went over. Could have scored more on that one.
Absolutely.
Second Chinese diver now, Yuan. Inward dive pike. It's a quite low degree of difficulty for a voluntary dive. Inward dive pike. And then look at this. I was checking the list. She's using the forward 2.5 somersault in the second round, and that's why she has to use a lower degree of difficulty dive in the first one. Interesting. That is not common.
No, that's not common from the Chinese divers, especially in this event on 10 meter.
Sure. Also, I was expecting a better job by the young Chinese diver. Not the greatest entry. We've seen Chinese divers showing us much better job at the bottom of the dive.
I almost feel like they've definitely not sent their A team.
No, not sent. No, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Also, not a full team either.
No.
Because they don't have 2 divers in each individual event and not all the synchros. So another run-up for 1.5 somersault pike, and not as close to the platform as I was hoping for. See here, she pushes on the takeoff. She pushes with her shoulders out a little bit too much, and once again, a very good dive, but not perfect. Still, solid score, 7s for her, not bad.
Sarah on the 10 meter board. Also opting for the arm stand dive at the start of her list.
Another thing that divers could choose is the way they pull up the arm stand. They can jump, they can have split legs or tuck or pike, whatever they want. Doesn't matter. The only important thing is hold it, and not the way the Canadian diver, sorry, apologies for that, is doing. She was struggling at the beginning, then she does a good job here. Perfect arm stand. Cool. Nicely done.
Solid entry. Ever so slightly short.
Yeah. Beautiful line there. Yeah, slightly short.
How did you press up into your handstand?
When I was younger, when I was their age, 14, 15, I would press up a tuck,
Same.
just like not jumping, just like pressing up in a tuck position. When I got a little bit stronger, did a pike.
Exactly the same as me.
Switch to pike, and that's the way I teach it.
Yeah.
Also, it's I like coaching platform probably better than coaching springboard. I gotta be honest. In my career, I did both. I started like many divers do. It's quite common. You start when you're at a young age on platform. Then I made the switch after not making it to the 2008 games. And I switched to springboard, and I went to 2 Olympic Games on springboard. So I had my career perfectly split into platform first and springboard after. I had better results on springboard, but I liked platform better. Yeah. I really liked it much more. It's very exciting to dive up on 10 meters.
I agree.
And Beatrice from Italy now on the platform, very talented as well. First year in the B group. She has a bright future ahead of her. And Oh, nice entry. You can hear the crowd. I was saying she lives in Trieste,
Yeah.
an hour away from Rijeka.
Of course.
She's very close. So her home coach is here. Her teammates. She brought everyone. She brought a huge crowd
Amazing.
here, and she did not disappoint the team with her first dive. Very nice little girl, and very talented.
Really helps when you have so much support in the stands.
Oh, I loved it when I
Yeah.
was the diver. Diving in front of your home crowd. Rome 2009 World Championship was the one competition I think I enjoyed the most. I had everyone. Grandma was there, mom, sisters, friends, everyone there, and a huge crowd. We had a big turnout in the public there, so it was very exciting. Plus, it's the home pool where I grew up. It was fun. So.
Yeah, I remember watching that on TV as a young boy and very inspired.
Yeah, that was fun. And Tom won there.
Yeah,
right?
crazy. 15 years old.
First dive on 5 meters in this competition for a Polish diver, Patricia. Back dive pike, not very strong off the platform. But a good line, I gotta say the score doesn't go very high because it's not the best takeoff she could have done. Teodora from Romania. And she's only diving on platform. Romania has a big tradition of platform divers. You might know, while Teodora doesn't get a perfect entry, you can see on the slow motion. You might know two high divers from Romania, Constantin Popovici and Catalin Preda. Catalin just won last week the European High Diving Championship in Paris 2 weeks ago now. Then Romania has always had a great tradition in platform diving, and keep having platform divers here once again. The second Italian diver on the platform, Greta Petrungaro, who did not perform at Junior Europeans, but is here at World Championship because she had quite a bad injury during the season. She dislocated her kneecap.
Oof.
Yeah, and so she struggled halfway through the season.
Yeah.
But she's very talented. Look at that entry. Beautiful dive. The way she points her toes and feet is unbelievable. She has a beautiful line disappearing underwater. So that's once again the last thing that judges notice, and you want to leave that to the eyes of the judges.
Absolutely.
Very good job on her first ever dive at junior high-level junior competition. So she only did one. She only did one little international meet this year before the injury, and then shows up here. So a lot of pressure on the young lady.
Absolutely. Dealing with it very well so far. We have Mia Cueva-Lobato. Part of the sisters of divers. It's quite impressive that I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah,
there's obviously
three.
the twins.
Yeah. The twins and another sister that is in the A group.
Yeah.
Unbelievable talent in that family. We have had in the history of diving families. We have had families that perform together. Talking about Italy, because I'm from Italy. My cousins, the Marconi brothers and the sister Maria, they went to a combined, if I'm not wrong, 8 Olympic Games. Wow. So that's pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah, and not only them, there's a lot of families that have generations of divers going one after of the other. So that's common in diving. It's such a small sport that is often passed on from generation to generation. And that's good. Another very talented diver here on screen for you is Emily Collins from Australia. All these divers, I'm always very interested and excited to see how they will evolve and perform later on. It's just, you see here a perfect jump from a very young diver and a nice line in the entry. It's beautiful. It's hard to imagine where they can go, but it's easy to imagine with this type of talent and body strength, they could reach high level.
Very high level.
We've seen a lot of people with talent, but not raw talent at this age, but then practicing, and then hitting the high stage medal or podiums like later on. a lot of people. We also have seen like divers that have pure talent at the beginning at 14, 15 years old and already diving at high level. I'm thinking about Tom. I'm thinking about Jack Law from Great Britain. Not only Alex Depati from Canada. We've seen a lot of divers that at a young age just either skip or don't do all the World Junior Championship they could do because they're already so high above in the level of their diving. But we also have seen a lot of that show up here, junior World Championship, and maybe get 6, 7, 8, not even making the final. But later on, the raw talent that they have, they develop it and then come back 6, 7 years later and then make a final at the Olympic Games or even get medals. So that's the tricky part of having raw talent.
Yes.
You got to work on it.
You do.
Talent helps. Work helps much, much more.
Oh, yeah. We have Amanda.
It's last dive of first round. Nice. We've had a lot of 4.1.5s in this first round from on the platforms.
6, 6, 5.5, 5.5,
Oh,
5.5.
sorry. Sorry. Yes. It was the last round. It was the last dive of the round. Sorry, we kept talking. We have the standings now on screen. You see the two Brazilians who started with a higher degree of difficulty dive, leading at 45 points, followed by Sarah from Canada that had the front armstand. And I was wondering, since top 12 will make it to the final, we have Colombian diver Luciana Pinedo in 12th place right now. The competition is still quite long, so
a lot more can go on.
Yeah.
Let's see, the top 12 will make it through to the final.
Very important, though, to, as you said before, they keep the score of the first 4 rounds of the voluntary dives in the final. They'll start from that. They are allowed to change eventually the list of the optional dives, the last 3 rounds, in between prelims and final, but they cannot reuse, obviously, one of the 4 dives. So it's very important here in the morning session, which now, well, it's afternoon now, but in the preliminary round, it's important to do your best in the first 4 rounds. It's the main goal of the morning. Also, then perform good the following 3 dives, but if you want to aim for the finals, the first 4 dives, you cannot miss anything. You'll carry them on, so very, very important. A quite short dive from Yara, the Egyptian diver, quite short here on the reverse dive pike. She did not pike.
Yeah, she needs to reach over her toes. Try and get more scores out of the judges.
Yeah, just 5s for her. It was that pike position. Didn't complete it and ended up being short.
Did you ever change your list order from prelim to final?
I did. It happened. It wasn't common.
Yeah.
It happened in the cases I would change one dive, and I do that. I suggest that to my divers as well, depending on. I give you an example. One of my divers tomorrow in the A group platform competition is using the forward 3.5 somersault in prelims and adding the forward 4.5 somersault. If you guys have followed the team event yesterday, Raffaele Pelligra did the 4.5 somersault in the team event. But in prelims, I told him, like, use a easier dive. Don't struggle with the higher degree of difficulties. It's risky. Just get on your head on a forward 3.5 somersault. It requires less energy and mental strength to perform. Beautiful dive now by Ludmila, the leader after round 1. Nice jump. Sorry if I interrupted my argument there, my thought, but I was impressed. Beautiful dive by the Brazilian. So yeah, I did, and I suggest that to my divers. Change in case you change the dive. If you have the same dives, keep the same order. You practice it that way. You used to do it that way. But also, it depends who you have in front of you, how you feel. If if your diver tells you, but I'd rather start with this one instead of that one, you just discuss it, see what's best, and hope also for the best afterwards.
Yeah.
Me personally, I did change it if I changed the dives.
Yeah. Yeah.
The times I used the, I don't know, let's say reverse 3.5. Or when I was on springboard, I added reverse 3.5 in the final. Prefer I use it somewhere else than what I did the 2.5 or the 4 or 4.5. Somewhere the same thing.
Yeah. It makes sense.
What about you?
I actually never changed. I feel like it's rarer to change on 10 meter.
On 10 meter, yes.
Because I completely understand, some of these prelims you have to get up so early in the morning, and the boards are so busy with sometimes 50 plus divers, and training those dives and competing those dives, those really hard dives, especially as you mentioned, the young Italian boy competing a forward 4.5 somersault at a junior level is very impressive. To do that in the morning at this age, that's difficult. So
I suggested him the same thing in prelims at junior Europeans. I was like, why risking something? Just make sure you just do a regular dive, nothing special in the prelims. Here watching the practices, I wouldn't risk it. That's it. That was my suggestion.
Your job is to get into the final?
Yeah, in the morning session for sure. Now we got Mariana Moreira, the other leader of the competition, second Brazilian diver, also doing an inward 1.5 somersault. In this case, she's doing it tuck on 7 meters. Her teammate did it pike on 10. Interesting choice of a dive here. And she's not going to keep the lead after this one for sure.
Nope. Dipping her head down on the takeoff, which then
she carries that mistake in the entry and then ends up going over, passing the vertical line in the entry. Not the rip entry that she wanted. You saw a few splashes there.
Consistency is key.
Oh yeah.
In diving. Got to try and stay as level-headed as possible during the whole competition. Easier said than done.
Oh yes, for sure. And it's very hard to, I gotta say, to teach. Coaching is not easy. I in my diving career, I've been a diver. I've been a teammate. I've been a coach. I've been a commentator on TV. But let me tell you, teaching all these details, it requires a lot of patience, obviously, a good relationship with the athlete, between athlete and coach. It's not easy, especially these young kids. You gotta understand, sometimes they show up at the pool after 6, 8+ years of school. They come tired. They have in front of them. They have 2, 3, 4 hours of practice, and they might be, I don't know, they might have got in an argument, in a discussion with the mom or with the boyfriend, with the girlfriend, with the teacher in school. So it requires a lot of patience and a long time, a lot of hours of work put in the pool. It's understandable that, especially for these divers that are not completely developed, mistakes could happen, and at the end of the day, the secret is to go back home, and even if something bad happened, a bad practice or a bad competition, in this case that we're competing this week, it could happen. Just trust the process. It requires a lot of time.
Yeah. And you learn the most from the failures. I in my career, I'm very grateful for the failures, because I learned, I'd go home, like you said, I'd work with my coach and try and work and come back even stronger the next competition.
Yeah, you know what I learned when I was at the same time being a diver and started coaching, because the two careers overlapped for me a little bit. I learned that we in diving often end up talking a lot about mistakes. So we're always correcting an error. So we always talk about stop doing this wrong thing. The secret is, and most coaches teach this way, instead of looking always for the error, which is there and we know it's there, start looking at and tell the positive thing. Oh, even if the competition went bad, still find that one positive thing that you did or that your diver did, uh, in order to see something clear, see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, you know.
Yeah.
And you are right. You learn a lot from the mistakes, no doubt about it. But you learn if you're able to put it in a positive perspective,
Absolutely.
an optimistic way of seeing the mistake. If not, you struggle. If not, you're always negative, and that's something, especially at a young age, where if you're listening, and you're a coach of a young diver, push the passion. Try to make them passionate about the sport, and if you always tell them, this is wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing it, that is not going to happen.
It's too negative.
So we saw Margarita from Russia doing another inward 1.5 summers of pike. We've seen a few in this second round already. She did a good job, sevens for her. And Margarita is now in 7th place. She's around the same scores in the first and second dive, around sevens. Not doing bad. That's definitely one of the divers that is aiming to be in the final tonight. No doubt about it. I've seen her before this season competing, and she has a lot of talent as well.
Angelia with a reverse dive pike.
Not the cleanest entry.
Nope.
We've seen this is already the second or third reverse dive pike. We've seen good but not perfect. Still, I mean, the dive was okay. Good line of the legs, good pike position, but definitely did not get the vertical entry that she wanted. Lindy from the U.S. Back dive pike from 7 meters. She was 7th after round 1. Another very talented diver, specialized on platform, which is another peculiarity of diving. We have a lot of divers nowadays that either do platform or springboard. It wasn't like this back in the days. It's we specialized divers earlier on that what it was back in the days. I remember my last World Junior Championship, 18 years old, it was in Aachen, Germany, in 2002. I was doing 1 meter, 3 meter, synchro 3 meter, and platform. Nowadays, the divers are specialized much, much earlier.
Yes. We have Willow from Great Britain, back dive pike.
After a not so good first dive, and once again struggling a little bit there on the 7 meter platform. Definitely pushed the dive too far back, and a big arch in the entry while hitting the water, and we won't see high scores. Here you are, 4.5s.
She'll definitely be disappointed with that. She knows she can do better. Trains at the City of Sheffield Diving Club, coached by Georgia Davenport.
And she is one of the divers that only does platform, right?
Yep.
I have never seen her on springboard.
Yep.
Well, it's not that I've never seen her. I've never seen her compete on springboard. That's what I'm saying. Because even platform divers, even if they're specialized on platform, they do use the springboard for skills and drills.
Absolutely.
And here we were talking about this dive earlier. Forward 2.5 summers of pike, not common in the voluntary dives, and we see why she decided to use it.
Yeah.
8s for her, 7.5s, and she performed better at forward 2.5 somersault than the inward dive in the earlier round, and it's a weird to see. You would expect to see more mistakes in having to perform 2.5 somersault instead of just an inward dive. Ella Guo from the United States now, from the 10 meter platform, and an inward 1.5 somersault pike. The most common dives to do in the voluntaries are forward 1.5 somersault, inward 1.5 somersault, maybe the back half twist, and then the other options are either reverse dive or arm stand or back dive. Pretty much these are the ones. So when we see the forward 2.5 somersault, we were a little bit in shock. Like, what is going on here? Sarah from Canada now. Sarah is from Montreal, dives with Coach Aaron Ziver, a well-known coach around the diving world.
Absolutely.
A very experienced coach. developed some great divers in his career
Absolutely.
in Montreal. I've been in Montreal diving with Canadian divers for a while in my career, and had a lot of fun with Aaron and the boys there. I enjoyed my time in Montreal. It's a beautiful pool, the Olympic pool. They have a perfect setup, and I gotta say that the one thing that I loved the most when I was there was the attitude in practices. A lot of professional athletes that just wanted to reach the highest potential. So it's definitely a good school, a good tradition of diving in Canada, in Montreal.
Yeah. Cassandra with an in with 1/2 pike. Could be a little bit cleaner on the entry.
She had a good verticality. Just didn't get the entry she wanted. Beatrice now, same dive for her. And I wonder, I didn't talk with her and with her coach, but I wonder why she's doing the voluntaries on 7 meters today when at Junior Europeans and also at Nationals she did them on 10. I guess she felt more confident. Also, might be we see some taping on her hand, so might be some a little injury to her wrist. Could be. Beautiful dive.
Very solid from the Italian. Good aerial work, beautiful pike shape.
I was checking. She is doing an easier list, but definitely, yeah, she has a quite easy list, Beatrice Calvani, but definitely so far showing us very good entries. She has a great quality in the way she lines up. She does that very well. So even if she does some easy dives, having easy dives, she requires to score very high, get high scores, obviously, but she's capable of doing that with her talent. Patricia Chuck now, reverse dive pike. And instead of Beatrice, Patricia is one of the divers with the highest degree of difficulty, but because later on she'll show us also the inward 3.5 somersault tuck on 10 meters. She has all 3 optional dives on 10 meters. Forward 3.5 somersault, inward 3.5 somersault, and the forward 2.5 somersault full twist. So a very high degree of difficulty list for her.
It's great to see at the Group B level.
It makes a big difference if in the B group you're in the first year or second year, because that's when these divers develop their skills and start going up on 10 meters. So it makes a huge difference if you're the first year or second year in the category, in the age group, as well as the A group, because also in the A group you have 3 years, so it makes even bigger difference. But yeah, in the junior competitions, it is important to specify if you are in the first or second or third year in the category, because it makes biologically a big difference in development of the strength and all the skills. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Greta Petrungaro now, after we have seen Teodora from Romania do the inward 1/2 somersault pike, Greta will do the same dive. Also, Greta is one of the divers in the first year, and she nailed the entry, but she did hit the platform with her toes. And you saw that didn't that get distracted by that, which could happen.
Yeah.
Too bad she didn't push. See the scores. She didn't push far back enough, and even though she got a perfect entry, she did not get great scores. Too bad. If the dive would have been a couple of centimeters further back, she could have easily scored 7.5 and 8 with that type of dive. But good thing, while we see Mia Cuevalobato from Mexico, good thing that she did not get distracted and overreacted to that mistake.
Yeah.
Could have been much worse.
Yeah.
Nice dive by the Mexican divers. So talented.
They really are. Really strong team in the junior and senior programs.
I remember diving in Mexico. The biggest crowd I've seen in a pool. Diving is such a big sport there. It's beautiful. You have been there. You know what I'm talking about. big diving tradition.
Yes.
Such champions they have had in the past, and they still do. Mexico is a strong, strong army of divers for sure.
Yeah. I was actually very unfortunate not to compete in Mexico.
Oh, you've never been?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought
no.
you've been, because it's common in.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I always wanted to. It was the one place I always wanted to compete in. But they went through a bit of a struggling phase. With political stuff.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, during my career, they've now returned back to hosting competitions.
Yeah. But let me tell you a little story. My first year in the seniors, when I was 16, 17, we went there they used to be in the World Aquatics, we had this circuit of Grand Prix. So 7, 8 competition around the world, and one stop was in Mexico, and I was at my first experience at high level. It was back in 2001 it was. And we went to Ciudad Juarez in the state of Chihuahua, and I was diving on platform back then. First or second senior competition of my career, diving right after in the prelims, right after Fernando Platas. And just, if you don't know who he is, he's a legend of the sport.
Yep.
Silver medalist at the Olympics. It was a big deal. He's still a big deal in Mexico, in the diving world in general. He's one of the legends of diving, and I was diving right after him. So it was stunning to see the crowd cheering for him before, after the dive, and having to dive right after him. Well, when you're 17, is not easy. Let me tell you, not easy.
See Leah there with a really nice reverse dive pike.
Just like her sister, an amazing dive and very well performed reverse dive pike. She gets up to 77.30 points at this moment. She is in 8th place, right ahead of her sister, just 2 points.
Maya from Canada on the 10-meter platform. Inward 1.5 somersault spike. Also coached by Aaron.
Yeah, I was talking, nice dive by Maya. I was talking with Gilles Mtolako, former French diver and coach that now it's been 10 years that he has lived in Canada. He was telling me he's here as well, obviously coaching one of his divers. He developed in Toronto for 10 years age group squad. He went there to build the base of the movement in Toronto, of the diving movement in Toronto. He's now moved to Calgary. He's going to do the same thing. He said, he was telling me, I'm not aiming to coach seniors again. He was doing that back in the days in France. He was the coach of former world champion Mathieu Rosset and Audrey Lebeau, Laura Marino. He built a strong squad in France, then moved to Toronto, built a strong squad in Toronto from the base up, and now he's doing the same thing in Calgary. So it's interesting that his choice of not aiming to go at a higher level with the seniors again, but important to have coaches that want to build the basics at the bottom.
I was going to say that is so important, because without that strong foundation in these nations, at these diving clubs, that's the only way to build a strong team and to have good representation around the world at these high level events. And obviously it's really good to see, that's the beautiful thing about diving, like we see many coaches around the world from for example, he was from France and now he's giving back to the Canadian team.
There's a lot of movements coaching wise in the diving world. I gotta say that diving impresses me how friendly environment it is. It's a big family. We are rivals when we're on the platforms and springboards, no doubt about it. We all want to win, but I don't think there are many sports like diving where people just hang out, like, as you said, like a big family. I have international divers that dove back in my days that I still call brothers, and we do see each other from other countries. Like I'm still very close with a lot of divers that dove with me that I met at these young junior meets. Like back in the days, I first met them in the 90s, and I'm still in touch with them, and I'm still friends with them. When we were on the boards, we fight for the medals.
Absolutely.
Against one another, but we did have a lot of great times together, and we still do. And I was talking about Gilles Tolaco. I didn't see him for a while now. It was a few years. We saw the other day, and we hugged each other. It was like, wow, it was so good to see him, so good to catch up and see what he was doing, how he has been, and I don't think it's that common in other sports.
No,
we're such a tiny sport that it's good that it is like this.
I agree.
I love it.
There's a lot of mutual respect.
Yeah, a lot of
between one
mutual
another.
respect, a lot of advices given, a lot of coaches. As you said, Gilles is from France but moved to Canada, gives back to Canada. But if I sit, I give you this example. Yeah, it happened yesterday, and I was with Josh, a diver from Scottsdale, Arizona. That's where I went for college. Where I did a university at Arizona State University back in 2005, 2010. I met him there. I found him here after a few years that I haven't seen him, 5-6 years last time I saw him. We were in the competition, and both our divers were competing against one another. We were cheering for one another, and he was asking me at the end, how did I couldn't see the third dive, how did it do? And it was very good. It was very, very good. I like that. I like this way of doing in the diving world. We had a little break here with Yara's scores, a little problem with the scoring system there. But yeah, I was saying I really like that. Everyone is friendly.
Yep.
And especially for the kids here, seeing that teaches them how you gotta be. You know?
Yeah. We're role models, especially now. We're both not competing, not athletes. You're a coach. I'm here as a commentator.
Yeah, being on deck though, you're still like
I'm around.
You're around. You're a role model, anyways. Like people, were the Italian team was asking me about you the other day. I was like. They're so young. They don't know who.
I know.
Some of them. I was. There's Ivan Sautin, the diver from Russia that dove yesterday on 1 meter. He's son of Dmitry Sautin, legend of diving. And I was like, do you guys have any idea who his dad is?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're an Olympic champion. You've been an amazing diver. You were. Not Dimitri Sautin.
No.
And I remember diving against him.
Yeah.
Have you ever? No, you have not. You're too young to be able to.
Yeah.
I dove against Dimitri for a while, for a few years,
Wow.
and it was legendary.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest. But that's good. And I was telling the kids that from my team, I was like, do you guys have any idea who his dad is? No, who's Dimitri Sautin? Open YouTube, go check it out.
Yeah.
Another great dive by very talented Belarusian diver Alexandra Puz. Beautiful entry.
Yeah.
She's so tiny but so strong. She also 2 weeks ago was diving at senior level at senior European Championship in Paris, gaining a lot of experience. I think
Absolutely.
there. It's good if you're a team in a team that has a chance to bring young divers to senior levels, because maybe you don't have a very talented senior team. I would bring my most talented junior diver to senior competitions, because that's where they learn the most.
Yep.
And if you don't have a senior, like for example Belarus, they don't have a female diver in the seniors that could compete at senior Europeans or senior World Championship, they're bringing Alexandra right away. Even if she's 14 and she's not going to make it to the final, doesn't matter. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, so much more experience gained.
Yeah. Franziska Bott from Hungary. Now doing the reverse dive pike on 7. She was 9th. She was within the divers that would make it to the final. She pushed this dive a bit too far out.
Yeah. Struggling to
Could
make
have
it
kept
round.
it closer. Look at that. Yeah. Still well executed, but not going for sevens probably because of that mistake.
Going back to Dimitri Saltin, like when I started diving at 7 years old, I just would go home after training and open up YouTube, and I would spend hours watching all the old videos of that sort of era of diving, and the amount of hours I've seen of probably the same video, the same competition, like just legendary stuff.
When I, unfortunately for me, because I'm old, but when I was preteen, 12, 13, 14, I was not lucky enough to have YouTube and the web to show. I remember trying to gather as many videotapes as possible, VHSs as possible from my coach. And I remember there was a former coach in Italy that would go to as many competitions as possible to video and tape as many dives as possible and then show us. It was one of my first coaches, and we would gather end of the season. We would show us our dives and then the senior international divers. And well, it was the way. It was the YouTube of my early days, you know. And so it's very important. It's stealing with your eyes, I call it. And that's the one thing I can. That's what I was saying about Alexandra Puz, the Belarusian diver that went to Senior Europeans 2 weeks ago. You are there and you gain experience not only diving and competing and practicing, but also stealing with your eyes. You look at the older divers. She was diving alongside with Chiara Pellacani 2 weeks ago. Chiara just won first diver ever to win 5 gold medals at Europeans, and she has been twice fourth at Olympic Games. She got 3 medals at World Championship last year. So being 14 years old and diving next to such a good diver, it's just the same air you breathe can teach you something, you know?
Absolutely.
So we saw a beautiful reverse dive by Yuan Yang from China. 9th also from a couple of judges. And you saw on screen, I'll give you once again a little diving lesson for the audience. You have a few scores there in gray and other ones, and 3 are in blue when they appear on screen. The scores in gray are the 2 highest and 2 lowest scores. You might have explained that throughout the week, but I'm going to repeat the lesson. It's because the 2 highest and 2 lowest scores are dropped. They're not used. They're not added together to give you the total score of the dive. And so you only take the 3 average scores and multiply by the degree of difficulty. So yeah, sorry, I just noticed that on screen, and I just want to give my little lesson, and that's my job, giving
absolutely
lessons.
yeah You're very good at
That's what
them.
I decided to do for as a job. Now we have once again a little tiny delay in the scoring because the tablets the tablets are not working. And so we have the judges giving the scores with their books.
Sometimes it's better to go to the old school methods.
Yeah, old school methods make it faster.
Yep.
4.5s and only 21 points for Amanda Wang. And now we have Daria Polyakova, another very talented diver.
Do you think I can't remember her first name, but Polyakova I recognize that surname.
It's a former Russian diver,
Okay.
Masha.
Yes.
Masha Polyakova was a springboard diver from, she was not in Paris, but she's been around a long time. She has also been athletes representative earlier, a few years back for World Aquatics. But she's from Russia. Same last name, different person.
Yep.
Not relatives for sure.
My mistake.
No, it's okay. But it's a well-known last name in the diving world.
Absolutely.
Luciana Pinedo now from Colombia for 1.5 somersault pike, and she decides to start the competition with back and reverse, which for many athletes are a little bit risky and tricky. and then use the forward. In this case, she did better the back and reverses than this forward 1.5 somersault pike. Not very clean in the N3.
Some
Could have
divers
done better.
Some divers are much better at their back and reverse entries.
Yep. Some ones are. It's interesting. If you're good at doing back and reverses, if you're good at it, you're very good. Some others, there are some schools of diving that have a very hard time teaching the back and reverses. It requires a great talent in spotting and understanding where you are in the air while somersaulting. And it's not common, but if you're good at it, you're incredibly good, and it gives you a big advantage in diving. And if you're good at it, you are good at that, and you're definitely better than forward anymore. That's at least what I've seen in my career with diving. The divers that were good at it were incredible.
Yeah.
It gives you a big advantage. It's a little bit like twisting. If you're good at twisting, you can use that in your advantage, adding an extra twist or doubling up in your list with the twisters. Yeah, it's not common. I mean, at high level, you see all the divers being able to spot and twist, but at this young age, it could give you a big advantage.
I was never a fan of twisting.
No,
really.
That was my best.
Really,
that's the one thing I loved the most.
Yeah,
twisters were my thing, and definitely struggle with. If there's a group of dives that I struggle with, were the back and reverses. Well, not struggle, but the ones I liked the least.
Yes,
let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I was able to spot. I've been doing. I did the 3.5s, which if you don't spot, you risk a lot doing those without spotting. Trusting on your senses is not easy. Lindy Johnson keeps up the good work so far. She just showed us a very good reverse dive pike. Okay, she's in 6th place, just less than 20 points behind the lead. Now the lead is not by Ludmila, and it's not kept by Ludmila, the Brazilian diver, but Chinese diver Yuhan is in first. And finally, a great entry by Willow, the British diver. She showed these kind of entries more often than what she did this morning. In the early days, I've seen her practice. She did a good job. Too bad she struggled in the first 2 rounds. But it's never over until it's over. Last dive decides everything. It's very common for young athletes, and some also the senior divers do that, but not as often. But young divers make a mistake early in the competition, and they think, oh, it's over. I'm not going to make it to the final. But trust me, it's not over until it's over, because in diving, we've seen in many competitions, anything can happen. Until the very last dive, a quick reminder of diving history. Athens 2004, synchro 3-meter final, men. We had 8 teams in that final. Team Greece ended up getting the gold medal, and they were 4th or 5th, I think, before the last round. They get into the last round, they do their last dive, the inward 3.5 somersault tuck, they nail it. They go for 80 and plus points. Perfect dive. They get ahead of the team that was 4th, and then the teams that were 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, it was China, Russia, and the US. China failed completely the dive. Russia, one of the 2 divers, Dimitri Saudin, hit the springboard, and the Americans, one of the 2 divers were the Dume brothers. One got extremely short for 4th, and Greece ended up winning. They were 5th before the last dive, way behind Team China, Russia, and the US. And all of a sudden, they won. It was it's a very famous competition in diving history. So that's the one thing I teach my divers when they get out of the water and they're mad because, oh, I made a mistake and now I'll never make it to the final. No, just keep on trusting yourself. Do your best. And then at the end, we'll analyze. We'll see what happened. If you don't stay positive, especially these long competitions. 30 divers, 7 groups of dives, 7 dives, it's a long way until the end. Anything can still happen.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're negative, it's a lot harder to dive well.
Yeah, for sure. Gotta be optimistic.
Yep.
Get on the. Of course, you gotta get on the platform and hoping to do a good dive, but you gotta trust that you can do a good dive.
Yep.
If you're negative about it, it's much easier to make a mistake.
Cassandra, representing Austria.
Yeah, she's from Austria. Dives with Michael Vorish, a very legendary coach. He coached many Austrian divers, and my college roommate Konstantin Blaha. It was his first coach, so a well-known coach in the diving world.
Yeah.
Now Beatrice Calvani on the platform, the young Italian diver. A reverse dive pike for her. She has been coach. We were talking about how some coaches move countries, and slightly short, unfortunately, for the young Italian. She's from Trieste, as I said before. She early on in her career, when she was 9 years old, more or less, she was coached by Arturo Miranda, which is a former Cuban diver, then coached in Canada, in Montreal. Was former coach of Alexander De Paty,
Yep.
Jennifer Abel, Megan Benfeito, so people that got medals at the Olympic Games. Then he moved from Canada, went to Italy for 1 or 2 years, and lived in Trieste. And now he's in Madrid coaching for Spain. So talking about someone that has traveled in his career.
Yeah, moving around a lot.
Yeah, a legendary. Another
Absolutely.
extremely good coach.
Yeah.
Extremely good. A lot of Olympic medals and World Championship medals under his belt.
Patricia with a single twister on the 10-meter board.
Interesting. She's doing it standing.
Yeah.
Usually, we have seen divers do this dive with an approach, with a run-up on the platform, and not in this case.
No. It's definitely more common, probably, to do a running takeoff on that dive.
This is the first time I've ever got a 10 in my life.
Wow.
When I was in junior, I remember junior national championship. Yeah, I don't know. And back in the days, they would give you at the end of the competition the dive sheet with the scores on it. I kept that in my wallet for a
As you
while.
should.
I was 16, 17 years old, and my first 10, and it was on that dive.
Sometimes it's almost harder to get high scores and a 10 on a required
Yeah,
dive, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah.
That's really impressive.
Nowadays, especially. Back in the days, we would work much more because, and I give you the reason why young divers back in the days, I'm talking 20 plus years ago when I was young, when I was a teenager, we would work more on voluntaries and easy dives because they were used as a total score in the Olympics. In the semifinal, until 2004, the semifinal at the Olympics was just 4 required dives. And so having to compete it in order to make it to the final, people would invest much more time practicing those. Now that starting in 2005, we had only optional dives in prelims, semis, and Greta Bertfrunger unfortunately retakes the handstand and will get the scores deducted, 2 scores deducted for her. Too bad. This is a huge mistake once again for the young Italian. This is the one thing she might have thought that after a mistake earlier, she has no more chances and not very, I don't know. She's struggling. Definitely mentally struggling, unfortunately. Too bad because she's very talented. But that's the inexperience.
Very young.
Very young and first time at such a high level. So yeah, I was saying nowadays in the Olympics we only have optionals. We don't do voluntary required dives anymore, and that's why you don't work as much. But I think at this young age they should all work a lot on that because that's where you put the base and learn the basic skills for then doing better with your optional dives.
I actually never knew that the semi-final was just
Just
required.
just required.
Wow.
You're
Yeah, sorry,
too young
yeah.
to know that. You're too young to
I
know
never
that. But
knew
yeah,
that.
you probably did. When did you start diving? What age?
I was 7 years old. It was
7. So around when
2005.
you started, 2005. That was the first season that we did not use in individual events the voluntaries in the semis, because it used to be preliminary optional dives. Then the top 18 divers would make it to the semis and perform the required dives, add them to the preliminary competition. So you carry on the preliminary scores, start from the whatever you score with the first preliminary dives, add the required dives. Whoever was in the top 12 with the combined prelims and semis would make it. The top 12 would make it to the final. Use the voluntary score and add on the final.
wow.
So it was a different system.
Yeah, very different.
And that is why you needed to work more on the voluntaries. Much more.
yeah, more
'Cause
important.
it was that is much more because you use them both to make it to the final, and in the final you start from that. So yeah, it gave each dive much more work, because now you start from zero. You don't carry on anything in the next round. So I'll give you an example. If I'm not wrong, David Budaya in 2012, American diver David Budaya on 10 meters won the Olympic gold medal. If I'm not wrong, it was 18th in prelims.
Correct.
He did not carry on that score, so he started fresh from zero, like everyone else. And so you could be, to give you an example, at the Olympics you could be 18th in prelims, 12th in the semis, like Jack Law did in Rio in 2016. Jack ended up being second at the Olympics because he started from scratch, from nothing. Guess who was 13th right after Jack in Rio at the Olympics? Myself. 2 points behind Jack. I did not make the final. He got in the final and got silver.
That's crazy.
I remember the day he got silver, which was also a week after he got the gold medal in synchro with Chris Mayers. I was talking with Adrian, his coach there, who now is here coaching Australia. I told Adrian, which I know since I was a very young kid, I was like, at least he got my spot in the final. At least he got the silver medal. We were all happy about it. And we go back to talking about. I was even though he was right in front of me for the Olympic final. I was very happy for Jack that got silver there. Extremely, that was such a talented diver, an amazing diver. I was very happy that he took the spot ahead of me and then got the silver in that individual event. It was beautiful competition for him.
Yeah.
Such a good diver, so strong.
Yeah, very good.
I remember first time I saw him, I was in Shanghai 2011. I was like, he was so young. I was like, where does this kid come from? I was still young in my career. I was like, this guy is amazing. He was so young, so strong though.
Yeah. I was very lucky to train at the same pool as him growing up.
Yeah. Well, you know him very well. I don't have to tell you how good he is, but for our audience, we're talking about a legend of the sport, a very good diver. So we are almost done with round number 3. We have Amanda Brightsmith from Peru. She lives in the States, if I'm not wrong about. She lives in the States and represents Peru because of her heritage. Slightly over here. We soon we have one more round, and then we'll have the interesting dives where the divers will spin and twist much more.
It's much more exciting to watch, I think.
Yeah. It's at these as we said before, we have right now we have the standings. China, Brazil, and China in the lead. They're still quite close though. 12th place is at 110 points, and right behind 110, and just 1 point behind there's Canadian diver Sarah. So they're still all very close from each other. Nothing is said and done. Still 4 rounds to go, and as we said, the optional dives after round 4 We had another run with easy dives, but then anything can happen. The degree of difficulty the higher degree of difficulty will change everything, for sure.
That's the importance of what you spoke about. It's not over until it's over.
Yeah.
A lot more changes can happen in the scoreboard.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There are divers with extremely hard dives in the optional dives. Divers with really easy dives. For giving, so I said it before. Beatrice Calvani, the Italian diver, performs the back 1.5 somersault half twist as her last dive. That's usually used in the voluntaries, in the required dives. So very low degree of difficulty, and is just a 2.0, while others have a 3.2 in that last round. Like the dive, oh no, she did not. Sorry, but there's Patricia Tuck that dives after Beatrice. She has a 2.9 degree of difficulty right after. That makes a huge difference scoring-wise, because when you multiply your scores, it could boost your total score very high, above 70 points. But it's also a huge risk having the hard dive, and so it could be interesting, especially at this young age, the divers that might not have the strength or experience to perform such hard dive.
Alessandra.
Another incredible dive for the young Belarusian. I really like her style, I gotta say.
That's very classy.
Yeah, beautiful twisting position, and the entry is great. I saw her, as I said it before, I saw her in Budapest at Junior Europeans. I was amazed that she's not very strong. I saw her first on springboard, and I was like, she's a little bit still weak, but just because of her age, obviously. She's strong for her body type, but I love her technique, because even though she's not very heavy and strong on the springboard, she can still do very good 2.5s with such ease in the air. Makes them the importance in the optional dives is show the judge that you do not struggle. Show the judge an optional dive that seems like a required dive. That's the secret. That's the one thing. The one thing I tell to my divers, like, when you struggle on the board, you make it seem like it's so hard to make these dives. The more relaxed you seem in the air, the better the judge think of you.
Absolutely.
You know? And that's what Alexandra Poos gives to my eyes when I look at her. Even though she's very tiny and not super strong, her technique is so good that makes me think, oh, she makes it with such ease, and it's beautiful to see.
Gives it that effortless.
She's at 172.40 with the total score of her required dives is very, very high. Beautiful first 4 rounds. She will take advantage of these required dives in the final, if she'll make it to the final. We have Veronika Andrashchuk, reverse dive for the Ukrainian. She was in 6th place, another dive that was doing very good so far. And another incredible entry.
Absolutely awesome. Awesome dive there from the young Ukrainian girl. Showing beautiful form.
Nothing much to say about this dive. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm saying nothing much to say because it seems perfect to my eyes. You might think, why is she not getting 10s though? Well, in order to get 10s in this dive, technically she needed a stronger jump. She could have been higher. Maybe her hands could have reached higher for her toes. It's tiny mistakes that at such a young age you can't complain about. After such a good dive, you just get as a coach, you got to tell her, good job.
Yeah.
Especially in competition.
Yeah.
Especially in competition, as we said before, to keep the optimism and the positive thoughts. You get 7.5s at this level, at this age. Good job. Let's move on. Let's think about the next one.
That's why the relationship with the coach and divers is so important, because most of the time, especially like in my career, I would see my coach more than my own mother.
Oh yes.
So you want to be able to just be able to keep them very positive, and especially in competition as well. They're probably only talking to the coach, and that's it.
Yes.
However the vibe of the coach is, it's going to brush off onto the athlete.
For sure, and that's why the optimism is needed. I do see myself sometimes forcing myself. I do force myself to, especially in competition, to, even though I saw something that I didn't want to see by my diver, something we have been working on that he didn't do in competition. I do try hard to keep the positive attitude. It's not easy. As once again, I said it earlier. You need to be patient. It's not easy, especially when there's a lot of pressure, because you might think that that's the most important competition of the season, like in this case. But I mean, good coaches. If you want to be a good coach, you gotta remind yourself we're in competition. Doesn't matter. Anything can still happen, and keep the positive attitude. Obviously, if the dive scores well, it's easier.
Yeah. We have Daria from Ukraine, reverse dive pike on the 7.5 meter.
Beautiful. She saved it a tiny bit ahead of time when she was entering the water. You see it here in the slow motion. You saw the diver needs underwater to do that saving motion underwater. They bend their knees and try to disappear with no splashes. Well, it seemed like Daria did it a tiny bit ahead of time. That's why she didn't get 7.5s and 8s, but only 6.5s and 7s. The dive was beautiful, but that score didn't go as high as she wanted because of that little movement underwater ahead of time. Luciana Pinedo, inward 1.5 somersault pike for the Colombian. And for these young divers, I was thinking about her that is from Colombia. For these young divers, it might also be the first times with a jet lag competing. That's another thing that teams think about. A lot of these teams have gone to training camps in Europe to adjust to the time difference. And at 14 years old, you might have never been to another continent to compete, and that's something. It's something I remember when at my second junior world championship. It was my first competition in Canada. It was in Calgary in 2000. I remember the first 2-3 nights there. I was completely awake. A jet lag was hard on me, and I struggled in the pool practicing because I didn't sleep well at night. And well, they're here to learn.
Yep.
You need to learn that. It's another factor.
Yep.
In the development of a good athlete to consider. Another great entry for Margarita Kuznichova here. She needed to get a better entry. She did not impress me in these last 2 rounds. The ensign was good, but the entries in the last 2 rounds weren't perfect. And she lost, I'd say, 10 to 15 points in these last 2 rounds. She wanted to do better, I guess. Oh, here you saw diver Angelea from Singapore. She did not hold the armstand. You saw it here. Never stopped it. Back in the days, and there's another rule that we don't have anymore, another change that we had throughout the years. It used to be, in order to get good scores, you had to hold the armstand 3 seconds. So the referee would count, like in his head, her head, 1, 2, 3, and if it was not 3 seconds, you would get points, lower scores. Now you don't have to hold it, and in this case, once again, Lindy Johnson from the U.S., she does not hold it correctly and long enough. You don't have to hold it anymore. 3 seconds counted, but you have to give the impression that you know how to hold it.
Yes.
If not, you do not get higher score. In this case, for Lindy, it's just 5.5.
Yep.
Even though the dive is good, not holding the arms and does not give you very high scores. Let's see how Willow does here. Willow, after 2 not so good dives, is trying to make a comeback. She was 23rd after 3 rounds. Better than the first 2, but still not the entry she wanted.
Nope. She could definitely go through the water cleaner than that. I've seen it many, many times.
Yeah, I wonder if she feels too much pressure, if she's stressed about it, about the competition. It's the first World Junior Championship for everyone in this competition, because having the B group only 2 years in the age group, it means that every time we see a B group competition, none of the divers have ever competed at World Junior Championship. Because the last World Junior Championship was in 2024, and all of these divers were in the C group, were in the earlier age group, so they had no chance to be at in Rio de Janeiro for the last World Junior Championship. So they're all, they were at the first year experience at World Junior Championship.
It's all new to them.
All new to them. It's it might be it is stressful.
Yes.
It is stressful. Yeah. It's understandable. Everyone looking at you, or you have worked so hard to be here, and it's time to learn for them. It's understandable. Everyone goes through this. Everyone, as we said before, you learn from the mistakes. I'm sure. Oh, beautiful entry here.
Nice dive from Ella from USA. Back half, showing great form and control.
And she's also the first year in the group, but she showed us some good dives.
She was a gymnast.
Oh, she comes from gymnastics.
Yeah.
Very common.
Very common.
Very common in diving. We've seen a lot of great athletes in the diving world and diving history coming from gymnastics. As a lot of movements in common with gymnastics diving. The main thing that differs is obviously the entry in the water. I remember fourth place at Olympics in Rio, Benjamin Offray from France. He came also from gymnastics, and I remember him at the very first experiences in diving when he was very young, struggling with the entries. He used the first couple of years of his diving career after he moved from gymnastics just doing lineups, just learning how to get in the water.
Yep.
All the other skills that are required in diving, from platform diving at least, the jumping, the twisting, the spinning, coming out of the somersault, he already had those skills set and perfect. He just needed to learn. He spent a couple of years just learning the entry, and then ended up coming in the sport of diving late. It was I think 12, 13, 14 years old. And then a few years later, it was fourth at the Olympic Games, and he is
a very good diver.
He is very good diver.
Yeah. That's the difference with gymnastics. Obviously, in gymnastics, they aim to land on their feet.
Yeah.
And then diving,
it's completely opposite. You got to learn to get upside down, and especially ripping the dives. It's not easy. It requires a lot of time learning. Italian diver Beatrice now on the platform. 11th after 3 rounds, and she's gonna keep her spot with this dive in the top 12 for sure after 4 rounds. Beautiful dive. She'll need to do great in her easier list later on if she wants a spot in the final.
She looks like she's enjoying the competition.
Yeah. She's one of I got to know her more this season because obviously it's her first year in the national team, and she has a great attitude. I love the way she practices. She's very focused in practice as well as in competition, but also she wants to do new things constantly. She's competing an easier list here because her coach decided, and it's obvious that she trusts her coach. But she's like, I can't wait to do the 3.5. I cannot wait to add an extra twist, and it's beautiful. For her coach, it's beautiful to be able to coach someone that wants to do. Is not scared. Works hard. It's not common.
No. I was scared of learning dives when I was really young. I definitely wasn't keen. As you say, as Patricia, she obviously is very keen to progress up.
Yeah. It's well, at this level, at World Junior Championship, uh, it's understandable that kids might be scared. Even at this level,
Yeah.
it's under they're young. They're still building their list. And then when you do 100, 1,000 of those hard dives, then you're like you feel more confident. You gotta build your confidence. That's the thing, and it's understandable. But seeing Beatrice and Patricia and all these a few of these divers here, not being scared and wanting to learn more, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's not very common, but it's beautiful.
It's refreshing to hear.
Greta Petrungaro, the other Italian, now after struggling a little bit in the last 2 rounds, let's see if she can recover a little bit. She got a 2 points deduction from the judges. Oh, beautiful. She got a 2-point deduction in the other dive because she didn't. She had to retake the arm stand. I really like her feet and toe, the way she points her and keeps her legs straight in this dive. And I lost a few points though. And Mia from Mexico, one of the Cueva Lobato sisters, for 1.5 somersault with a full twist.
Opting for the running takeoff.
Yeah. Patricia Chak from Poland did it standing. She's doing it with the approach. Beautiful. Wow, what a dive. Nice jump and a perfect verticality there. Oh, I would have scored more. Well, yeah, I would have given an 8.5.
Yeah.
Well, one it's in. 8 and 8.5 are the scores that give her a total of 51.45 in this last round of required dives. Is the higher scoring dive so far in the competition. We will for sure with the optional dives go easily above 50 points, but for required dives going above 50 is extremely good. Extremely good, nice.
Mariana from Colombia with a back 1.5 somersaults half twist. It's a good dive, just a little bit splashy on that entry.
It's, I gotta say, teaching the entry is, well, some divers have it, like in their talent. So for teaching it to someone that doesn't do it naturally, the rip entry is not easy. It requires a lot of time in the lower platforms and springboards just to learn. Just get vertical, find the verticality first, hands placement, arms movement, the pike safe for the front entry or the knee safe for the back entry. It requires a lot of time, but is the most, I'd say, if not the most, one of the most important things in diving. Oh, nice jump here.
Beautiful jump.
Slightly short for Emily Collins from Australia. That takeoff, I really liked it. Look how high she goes. Perfect jump. Too bad didn't bring her hips back up before lining up, so slightly short. Too bad. This could have scored very, very high. Way too short. And one quote by, I named it earlier, Konstantin Blaha, former Austrian diver and my roommate in college. He once taught me, we were at the Olympics in Rio, and so it was the end of my career. And for the first time I heard this quote, he said, 90% of the dive is the takeoff, but 90% of the score is the entry. And it is like this.
Yeah.
You can have a not so good dive in the air, but if you rip it, you still can get very high scores. Probably not 10, 9s and 10s, but you can still do it extremely good if you get a clean entry. You can have a perfect dive technically in the air off the platform or springboard, perfect hurdle, perfect approach, nice line and pike position or tuck position, whatever it is that you do in there, and then completely have a completely splashy entry and you score less.
Yep.
So I always use it very often.
I like it,
when
yeah.
I teach the lineups, when I teach the entry to my younger divers, and I tell them you can do perfect in the air, but then at the end of the day you gotta rip it. The dive, a rip dive gives a different, totally different emotion to the judge that scores you.
Yeah. The last thing the judges see.
Amanda, bridesmaid from Peru, last required dive, and see she's pushing off her handstand, not pressing up, but just pushing with her legs. Oh, another handstand that could have been performed better. Yeah, definitely wanted to hold it much longer, but still quite vertical, quite behind though in the ranks. Yeah, she's 28, not very high score dive. We are done with the required dives. China, Yuan Jiang in first, Alexandra Puz in second, and the other Chinese, Qin Chengyuan, in third. Where are we with 12th place here? What we have? Russian diver Margarita Kuvshinova. Sorry about that. Yeah, I told you she lost a few points in the last 2 rounds, and she dropped down to 12th place. Just 2 points ahead of Emily Collins there. Yeah, Emily with that entry in the back twister lost a few points there, but they're all very, very close.
Yeah. Tight.
Very tight competition. Anything is still open. I'd say that with the optionals, we're gonna have a lot of fun watching these next 3 rounds. Matty, I gotta join my team. I gotta go warm up the boys that are gonna practice later. I had a great time. I might join you later on, either today or tomorrow, in the next couple of days that we still have here at World Junior Championship. I hope the audience enjoyed having me here.
I bet they definitely did.
And have fun with the remaining 3 rounds,
Thank you very
with and then with the finals later on tonight.
Thank you for joining us.
And thank you everyone for listening to me. I hope I gave you some insight of diving and the diving world. And stay with us for the rest of this competition and the rest of the week of diving. Have a great day. Bye, Matty. See you later.
Thank you, Mickey. We have Yara with an inward 2.5 somersaults tuck on the 7 meter, sorry.
5, 5, 6, 6, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half.
Quite the scores she'll be looking for.
Back 2 and a half somersaults with tuck, 7 and a half meter.
Testing. Can you hear? Yeah, I'm back on.
6, 6 and a half, 6 and a half.
We have Alessandra there.
6 and a half, 7, 6.
We have Ludmila. We're back 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist on the 10 meter. Really strong, powerful jump out of the board from Ludmila. Beautiful technique, just a little bit short of the vertical. Hope you enjoyed having Michela Benedetti join me. I definitely did. It's really nice to have someone else up here in the commentary booth. I know it's definitely more enjoyable for you all at home listening. It's definitely enjoyable for me having someone to bounce off and hear their insights into diving. Francisca. As you can hear, very loud crowd in this competition.
5 and a half. Correction. 6, 6 and a half. 6, 6 and a half. 6, 6, 6. Veronica Andrushuk. Inward 2 and a half somersaults, piked 10 meter.
Veronica up on the 10 meter board. In with 2.5 somersaults pike, 2.8 degree of difficulty. Remember, we are now in the optional rounds of dives. Really good takeoff for Veronica. Not quite getting the rotation round up to vertical on the entry. We have Mariana. Inward 2.5 somersaults tuck. Strong takeoff. Just not quite getting out of her shape into the entry quick enough. Catching the splash on her back. Here we have Jian Yuan with an inward 3.5 somersaults tuck on the 10 meter, 3.2 degree of difficulty. I expect to see a very decent dive here. Oh, it's definitely a miss for the young Chinese girl. See on the takeoff doing a double bounce. I'd rather see the divers keep their toes planted on the ground on the end of the platform at all times, or just, you know, or maybe just a few centimeters of lift. I don't want to see a whole jump and a hop. Amanda Wang from Hong Kong, performing an easier dive forward 2.5 somersaults pike, a 7.5 meter. Very solid dive from Amanda. Very nice, nicely executed. Hong Kong's a nation that hasn't had many senior successful athletes in diving, so it's really good to see their attendance here at the World Aquatic Junior Championships. As Mickey was saying, you know, it's important to build a diving club, a diving nation from the base, from the ground up. Daria Polyakova. Well executed dive. Forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Sixes to count, 54 points. Luciana from Colombia. In with 2.5 somersaults pike. Beautiful pike shape. In the air. See that hop on the takeoff. Landing quite short of vertical. As the dives get harder, you know, almost opens up room for more mistakes. Obviously, we would like to see all divers performing really well, but that's not sport. Margarita, forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Ooh, you see Margarita there, taking off from the not the end of the board. She's at least 30 centimeters away. which makes the dive very difficult.
6.5, 6, 5.5, 6. Angelia Lau. Inward 2.5 somersaults, pike 10 meter.
We have Angelia representing Singapore. Singapore, my one of my coaches, probably the coach that I was extremely fortunate to have in my junior career. His name is Peng Li. He was a very good Chinese diver himself in his day. He went on to coach in Leeds diving, coach me and Lois Toulson, Anthony Harding. We are all now Olympic medalists. So, you know, you could say that, well, I definitely would say, without the help of Peng in those crucial junior years, I wouldn't have been as good as I was. He was coaching, he was the head coach at Singapore for a few years, but I believe he's now back in Beijing, coaching at the Water Cube, the famous stadium for the swimming and diving in the 2008 Olympics. Been very lucky enough to compete at that pool a few times. My first time when I was 16 years old. We have Lindy Johnson. Beautiful dive. Really good form, just a bit short on the entry. We have Willow from Great Britain in with 2.5 somersaults tuck. It's a good positive jump out of the board from Willow. Just slightly missing the spot on the entry. She enjoys walking her dog, called Milo, in her spare time. And her proudest achievement so far is being selected for this exact competition, the Junior Worlds. Off the back of a great year as Scottish and British platform champion in her age group. 6th place at her first Junior Europeans earlier this year. Whoa, beautiful. Inward 3.5 from 1. Again, another big hop on the board, but so precise. Going through the water, disappearing. 70 points. I'll see her propel right up to the top of the leaderboard. She's now currently 5 points ahead of her Chinese teammate, Jian. We have Ella go forward 2.5 somersaults pike on the 5 meter. Wow, such a pretty diver. Beautiful toe point. Running down the board with just elegance. Really clean through the water. 50 points. It was a easier dive, 2.6 degree of difficulty. That's a good score though. 6.5 sevens from the judges. We have Sarah from Canada in with 2.5 somersaults pike. Something that really impresses me about Sarah is that she started diving when she was 3 years old. That's crazy. Wow. Guessing she started swimming when she was 2 or maybe 1 years old. Really nice in with 2.5 pike. Getting the hands on the water. I once knew a diver who, when her mum signed her up to learn to dive, but she couldn't swim. So I'm not really sure what the thought process was for that. You know, if you can't swim, I don't know how on earth you can dive. Lifeguards aren't going to pull you out of the pool every dive you do. sevens. Cassandra Galatia, forward 2.5 somersaults pike on the 7.5 meter. Really nice dive there from Cassandra. Just a little bit short. Yeah, Beatrice. Every time the Italian divers came up on the board, I didn't want to try and do my pronunciation in front of Mickey, as he is Italian himself. Wow, beautiful entry there for Patrice. Great form, disappearing through the water. 7.5 count. Patricia, sorry. I was looking at Patricia's name, but then I could hear Patricia being shouted by her family and friends here in the crowd. My head got a bit confused. Patricia. Forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Very decent dive there from the Polish young girl. Sometimes even at a senior level, I don't sometimes see that dive being performed worse than that. Not saying that was bad. It was really good. 5.5 to count. Just kind of explaining how I'm really impressed with the level of competition in this Group B event. You know, these girls are only 14, 15 years of age. Emily Collins from Australia's she's 13, but I presume she might have just turned 14. I don't know. I thought you couldn't. Nah, I don't want to get it wrong. Teodora. I really like her takeoff. Good spin speed.
5.5, 5.5, 6, 5.5.
She needs a little more control on the entry. Yeah, Greta. Back 1.5 somersaults with 1.5 twists on the 7.5 meter. Solid entry for Greta. Really good takeoff.
6, 6, 6, 6, 6.5, 6, 5.5. Mia Cueva Lovato.
We have Mia in with 2.5 tuck on 5 meters. This is a difficult dive. 3.1 degree of difficulty. Yes, it's not on the 10 meter, but you're taking out 5 meters of room. Only having 5 meters to play with. 2.5 somersaults. Wow. That was really impressive from Mia. This dive is usually a lead-up dive for the senior divers. Or even the junior divers when they're if they compete an inward 3.5, they will do the dive we just watched on 5 meter. I'm sure Mia probably already does inward 3.5. She might be saving it for the final, I'm not sure. Mariana. Forward 2.5 somersaults pike. Just rotating over a vertical. She could have come out of the dive way earlier than that. I mean, Emily Commons does definitely look 13 years old. I want to double check that. Back. 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist on the 5 meter board. She trains in Queensland with Vaninka. Such a strong takeoff. Look how beautiful form going into the twist. Slightly leaving it short of vertical.
6, 6, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 4.5, 5.5. Leah Cueva-Lovato.
But as Michaela Benedetti said, that in this age group, in the group B, this is the first time these divers are ever experiencing a junior world championships. There's so many things that you're not used to. Can feel quite intimidating seeing all the divers around the world. I remember I definitely felt intimidated. I did a lot of work with my psychologists over the years to try and just ignore what's going on around, try and focus in on myself. Really allowed me to control what I could control and just not care about anything else, which sometimes is needed in diving. We have Maya Jane in with 2.5 somersaults tuck on the 7.5 meters. Wow. Maya there with a beautiful, nice and early pike out. That shows good confidence.
6.5, 6.5, 6, 6, 6.
That definitely tells the judges that she knows what she's doing. She's confident. You have Amanda Brightsmith representing Peru. Back 1.5 somersaults, a half twist. Amanda, our last diver of this round, gaining all the experience from this competition.
4.5, 5, 5. 5 rounds complete and the standings.
Let's have a look at the standings after 5 rounds of dives. So we had 2 Chinese divers in the lead. More importantly, especially in this final prelim, it's all about that top 12 making it through to the final. We have Margarita Guvshinova in the 12th position with 199. See the gaps are opening up. Lindy Johnson in the 13th position, 191. 8 points between them, and it does drop down a little bit more, down into the 14th position, held by Francisca from Hungary. Round 6, we have Leila from Egypt. Next up we have her teammate Yara, forward 3.5 somersaults tuck on the 10 meter. I used to enjoy competing this in the Group B event back in my day. He almost looked a little bit wild into the tuck shape. I was scared she was going to slip out. You want to really squeeze yourself into a tuck shape, leaving no gap from your chest to your knees.
Three and a half. 3, 3, 4, 3 and a half. Alexandra Poos, reverse.
We now have Alexandra Poos
10 meter.
from Belarus. Reverse 2 nice somersaults tuck. I'm excited to watch this one. She's having a great competition so far. Wow. Really enjoyed the takeoff. How she stays upright, jumps away from the board. Confident kick.
6 and a half, 6 and a half, 6 and a half, 7, 7, 7 and a half.
As she knows there with her little hand gesture. Bit short, but vertical. Needs to try and stay a little bit dished when she comes out of her dive. Ludmila, forward 3 now somersaults pike. Great dive from the Brazilian. Really powerful takeoff. Already showing such strength at a young age.
6, 6, 5, 5 and a half, 5.
Clearly works hard in the gym.
Inward, 2
You know,
and a half, somersault.
diving isn't, you know, as Michaela said, there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes. It's roughly like 50-50. 50% of the training is in the gym, 50% in the pool. We have Francisca in with 2 nice somersaults tuck. Thought that was a wonderful takeoff. Great head position, as you can see there. Really good jump.
3 and a half,
Just with that adrenaline maybe.
4, 3, 3 and a
Struggling to control coming out. Her rotation at the wrong time.
2 and a half somersaults, so 1 twist, height 10 meter.
Veronica from Ukraine, forward 2 nice somersaults, 1 twist. I'm presuming we'll see her twist first. I'll be quite surprised if she twists after her somersaults. Yeah. It's a shame about the entry. That's what we call a full in. Struggling to gain that speed after the twist. Needs to throw for her legs a little bit more to gain that rotation.
Forward 2 and a half somersaults, 1 twist with tuck 10 meter.
We have Mariana. She's putting her hand up. On our information on the scoreboard, it says she'll be performing a forward 2 and a half somersaults, 1 twist in the tuck position. In this circumstance, I'm presuming she's not, you know, that's not the dive she wants to compete.
Our apologies for this short break in competition. We will be back in action as quickly as we can.
Need to raise your hand towards the referee to indicate that there's something wrong. Sadly, it's a long, hopefully she's not walking all the way down the 10 meter, because that is a long way to go, and you know, after that she'll have to walk all the way back up. Also before her dive, she was on the 7 meter and she kind of did the same hand gesture over, looked like over towards where I am in a way, like just in front, as you can see on the camera angle, where the people are sat in the stands. That's just in front of me. So maybe something else is wrong. I'm not sure. I'll try and explain as much as I can if I know. I can't read minds though. Wish I could.
A failed dive.
Interesting. She's obviously she's
Chan Yuer.
it's an she's opting not to have completed that dive.
Free position, 10 meter.
So it's a failed dive. I wonder. I hope everything's okay, Mariana. Next up, the Chinese diver Jiang with an arm stand back double somersaults, 1.5 twist. No, unfortunately we didn't get the replay on that one.
6.5, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7.
Very solid dive
Amanda Wang.
from Jiang.
Inward
Next
two
up we've
and
got
a half
Amanda Wang
somersaults with tuck, 10 meter.
doing an inward 2.5 somersaults tuck on 10 meter. It's an easy dive, 2.5 degree of difficulty. So can't really afford any mistakes. Ooh. Fortunately seeing Amanda there landing quite short of vertical. You know, the 10 meter is the equivalent of 2 double-decker buses
3, 3,
and
2.5, 2.5, 2,
small
1.5, 2.
sized car on top.
Daria Polyakova.
Um,
Inward 3.5
sometimes
somersaults
reach
with tuck,
speeds up
10
to
meter.
25 miles per hour when we hit the water. So when you land like that, it can really hurt the body. Daria Polyakova in with 3.5 somersaults tuck, 10 meter. That's such a shame there about the end of the dive, but wow, what a beautiful takeoff. Great spin speed. Really like her tuck shape. Maybe just struggling to spot her dive in the outdoor pool. Something I definitely struggled with in my career. You know, it is a beautiful day. The sky is blue. The pool is blue. You do not want to get them mixed up. Luciana. On the 5 meter. Back 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist. Very solid. Strong dive from Luciana. It's only 2.5 degree of difficulty, so expected to perform it well.
6.5, 6, 6, 6, 6.5, 6, 6.5. Margarita Kuvshinova. Inward 3.5 somersaults with
Margarita.
tuck, 10 meter.
In with 3.5 somersaults tuck on the 10 meter. Ooh. It's a solid dive. Slightly going over a vertical on the entry. Spin speed is great. Good direction out of the board.
5, 5, 5.5, 6, 4.5. Angelia Lau. Back 1, back 2.5 somersaults, a half twist, pike,
Angelia.
10 meter.
2.5 somersaults with half a twist. Solid dive from Angelia. Landing nicely vertical.
5, 6, 5.5, 5.5, 5, 5.5, 5. Lindy Johnson, reverse 2.5 somersaults with tuck.
Lindy Johnson, reverse 2.5 somersaults tuck. Lindy trains at Aquatics with John Proctor. I believe that's in Tallahassee, in Florida. But I know John Proctor was the head coach at the Florida State University, because the British team have used that base and pool a few times for training camps, and I really enjoyed my time there. John Proctor's really cool, nice guy. I was interested in, I really wanted to go to college in America with diving. I'm glad I didn't, because, I was able to just concentrate on diving purely and managed to get the most out of the sport for myself. But I did actually send an email to John expressing I was interested, but it just never went anywhere. We have Willow from Great Britain, arm stand, back double somersaults, 1.5 twist. Oh, amazing job there from Willow. This is the first time she's ever competed this dive, which can be a very nerve-wracking experience, especially at your first ever World Aquatic Junior Diving Championship.
4.5, 4, 3.5, 3.5, 4.5, 4.5. Yuan Jingzhong, arm stand back double somersault, 1.5 twist, free position, 10 meter.
Everyone performing the same dive as Willow, back arm stand double somersaults with 1.5 twist. Wow. Incredible entry from one. Really good execution.
8.5, 8, 7.5, 8, 8, 7, 8.
Eights to count, 76.80. That is a huge score for a Group B girl.
Inward 2.5 somersaults,
Ella Goa.
7.5 meter.
Whoa, such a precise diver. Really beautiful takeoff on the 7.5 meter. In between our somersaults tuck. Going through the water very clean. Beautiful dive.
7.5, 7.5, 8, 7, 6.5, 8. Sarah Yada Tessier, reverse 2.5 somersaults with tuck, 10
There's Sarah. Reverse 2.5 somersaults tuck on the 10 meter. Wow. Great confident dive from Sarah. Great reach on the takeoff. And that line on the water. Very nice.
7.5, 8, 8, 7.5, 7, 7. Cassandra Elisha, inward 2.5 somersaults with tuck, 7.5 meter.
We have Cassandra. In with 2.5 somersaults tuck on the 7.5 meter. Lovely dive from Cassandra.
6, 5, 6, 6, 6.
Just to tidy up a few things. Yeah, Beatrice. In with 2.5 somersaults tuck. Much nicer dive there from Beatrice. She's only from a few hours away in Trieste, so got all her family and friends come down. I think it's only a short drive to watch the competition. Patricia in with 3.5 somersaults tuck, 3.2 degree of difficulty. I like to see that replay. I feel like it was a bit uncomfortably close to the board. I think it was okay, but it was just a bit chopped down. Her spin speeds were great though, making the dive quite easy.
Forward 3.5 somersaults pike, 10 meter.
Teodora. Forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Nice overall dive. Could do with squeezing her glutes on the entry. We have Greta. Forward 2.5 somersaults pike on the 5 meter. Beautiful entry from Greta. Disappearing through the water.
6.5, 7, 6.5, 6.5, 7, 6, 6.5. Mia Cueva Lobato. Forward 3.5 somersaults pike, 10 meter.
Mia Cueva Lobato. Forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Wow. Awesome dive from Mia. Such a powerful diver. Look, no gap in her pike shape. So precise on the end.
7, 7, 7, 7, 7.
Here's some 8s. 7, 7, 7.5 to count though. Mariana. Nice confident jump out of the board. Going through the water nice and clean.
5.5, 5.5, 5.5,
Emily Collins. Forward 2.5 pike on the 5-meter board. Such pretty form. She's definitely going to be one to look out for in the future as she gains more experience, more strength. Increases her degree of difficulty. We have Leah. Same dive as her sister, her twin sister. Forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Wow. Both of the Mexicans just executing the dives really well. So precise. Great entries. 64s. 0.50, 7.5, 7.5, 6.5 to count.
Maya Jane, forward 3.5 somersaults, pike 10 meter.
Maya Jane. Same dive as Leah. Forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Really strong takeoff. Beautiful pike shape in the air. Just letting the dive slightly roll over. But this dive is, these are difficult dives these young girls are competing. It's incredible to see. And this is only the preliminary. Amanda Bright-Smith. Forward 2.5 somersaults pike. 7.5 meter. Beautiful dive from Amanda. Definitely one of her strongest dives of the competition so far. Great work.
7, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6, 6, 6.5. Thank you.
Looking happy, as she should. It's the end of round 6. Let's have a look at the standings so far. We have the Chinese ahead in first and second, with Mia from Mexico in the 3rd position. Let's have a look around the 12th. Remember that top 12 will make it through to the final later on this afternoon. Patricia from Poland is in that 12th spot, 241.45. And behind her is Linda Johnson from USA in the 13th position with 237. So it's really close still for those two. It's not over until the last dive. Lila. Not the best. Forward 3.5 somersaults tuck. A little bit loose on that entry.
5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 5, 5.5. Yara Khalid Mohammed, forward 2.5 somersault with 1 twist, 5 turn 10 meters.
Yara there finishing on a forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist.
5, 4, 4.5, 5, 4.5.
Solid dive from the Egyptian.
Alexandra Pools, forward 3.5 somersault, 5 turn 10 meters.
Alexandra. Again, one of their stronger divers in this prelim. Forward 3.5 somersaults pike. Wow. Really excellent dive. She's probably saving a better one for the final. I feel like she can definitely go for the water cleaner than that. Wow, very impressed. She's so young, yet so confident. Looks very professional. We have Ludmila. Inward 3.5 somersaults tuck. Wow. Awesome dive there from Ludmila. Such a powerful takeoff. Spinning 3.5 times inward in the tuck position. Really controlled on the entry. Getting a big cheer from the crowd. We have Franziska from Hungary. Back 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist. Solid dive to finish her competition. What happened to just cheering in the crowd? Now all we hear is just these loud horns. I feel like I remember being a junior and a senior. My team would be able to make that exact noise with their mouths and their hands clapping and shouting. Much prefer that than a silly horn. Veronica, back 2.5 somersaults tuck. Oh, lovely dive. Great class in the air, very elegant. Such a neat tuck shape. Great finish.
7, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 7, 6.5, and 6.5. Mariana Moreira.
Good. Mariana. Forward 3.5 somersaults tuck. Great solid dive for the Brazilian. Really impressed with 2 Brazilian divers in this competition. 212.50 to finish. Mariana. We have Jiang. Back 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist. Wow. Absolutely awesome entry there for the young Chinese girl. Nothing wrong at all with the entry. Of course, the reason why you're not hearing 10s and 9s is because there's still work to be done on the takeoff and form in the air. Amanda Wang. Back 2.5 somersaults, half twist on the 10 meter. A little bit short vertical. Skipping off the board. I'd like to see her extend out of her knees on the takeoff. Daria. With a back 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist. Really solid dive for the Ukrainian. Little skipped, little leant back on the takeoff. Kind of cut off the height and rotation. That's why she landed short of vertical. We have Luciana. From Colombia. Reverse 2.5 somersaults tuck. Really solid dive there for the Colombian. Good finishing dive. Great jump out of the board. Great height.
6.5, 5.5, 6, 5.5, 6, 5.5, and 6. Margarita Korshinova back 2.5 somersault, 1.5 twist, fight, 10 meter.
We have Margarita. Back 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist. Great dive from Margarita. Just landing a little bit short.
6.5, 6, 6, 6, 5.5.
307. It's a solid score.
Angelia Lau forward 3.5 somersaults with a tap, 10 meter.
Angelia, forward 3.5 somersaults tuck. Not quite getting the correct rotation out of the board. You kind of want to throw up and over the pool.
3.5, 3.5,
You throw downwards.
3, 2.5.
Your dive then becomes really hard to control
Lindy Johnson, arms to
on
back,
the end.
3 somersault, 1.5
We have Lindy Johnson.
position, 10 meter.
Arm stand back 2 somersaults with 1.5 twist. This is a really crucial dive for Lindy. She was sitting in the 13th position. She really needs a really strong dive here to try and push herself up into the top 12. As the top 12 will make it onto the final. Hold it. Nice. She was a little bit quick up into the handstand, but she held it for a good enough time, showing control. A little bit short of vertical. It's going to be tight.
6.5, 6.5, 7, 5.5, 4.5, and 5.5. Willow Castellan McGrath forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist.
We have Willow with a forward. 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist. Good solid finish there for Willow McGrath. A little bit rolled on the entry. One experience to be able to compete at Junior World Championship for the first time ever. Like all the rest of these divers.
4.5, 5, 5.5, 5, 5, 4.5, and 5. Non-changing back 2.5 somersault, 1.5.
Great experience gained.
10 meter.
1. Back 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist. Wow, absolutely fantastic dive there from the young Chinese girl. Whew. Beautiful takeoff. Really nice. Oh, disappeared through the water. Can't really get much better than that, especially at this age group. Fantastic.
8.5, 9, 8.5, 8.5.
We're hearing some 9s.
8.5.
8.5, 9, 8.5 to count.
2.5 somersault.
Highest scoring dive of this competition, 83 points. Oof. Ending on a score of 396.35. It's definitely going to be our leader in this prelim. Ella go. Back 2.5 somersaults tuck. Really solid from Ella. Lovely direction out of the board. Great tuck shape.
6.5, 6.5, 7, 6, 6, 5.5 and 6. Sarah Jane Garcia forward, 3.5 somersaults with tack 10 meters.
With Sarah from Canada, forward 3.5 somersaults tuck. Whoa, fantastic dive there for Sarah. Ending on a beautiful one. Great takeoff, great head position, lovely tuck shape. So precise in the water, clean finish.
8.5, 8.5, 8.
Well done, Sarah.
7.5 and 7.
8.5 to count 66.15. Great score.
1.5 somersaults, fight 5 meters.
Cassandra. Bit more of an easier dive here. Back 1.5 somersaults pike. These easy dives, I'd like to see them being performed at a better standard. That was quite short vertical. Great experience gained. We have Beatrice from Italy. Back 1.5 somersaults with half a twist. It's a very easy dive. 2.0 degree of difficulty. Beatrice showing us how clean she can go through the water there. Beautiful entry. Lovely form.
7, 7, 7.5, 6.5, 7, 7 and 7. Detail catch forward, 2.5 somersault, 1 twist, fight 10 meters.
We have Patricia from Poland. Forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist. Lovely dive from Patricia to finish her competition off. Good work through the air. Not bad entry either.
6.5, 5.5, 5, 6, 5.5, 5.5 and 6. Teodora Jakob forward, 2.5 somersault, 1 twist, fight 10 meters.
We have Teodora. Forward 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist. 10-meter diving board. Wow, it's a really strong dive there from Teodora from Romania. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more of a tighter pike squeeze, but hey, great entry.
6, 6, 6.
Disappearing through the water.
6.5 and 6.5. Greta Petrogaro inward, 2.5 somersault,
We have Greta from inward 2.5 somersaults tuck on the 7-meter board. Wow, really beautiful dive from Greta. Definitely finishing on probably one of her favourite dives. Disappearing through the water.
7.5, 7, 8, 7 and 6.
Really showing us what she's capable of. 7s to count.
2.5 somersault, 1 fight 10 meters.
We have Mia Cueva Lobato from Mexico. Back 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist. Really great dive. A little bit of a miss though for Mia. Going over slightly on her rotation on the entry. Still, I think, definitely confidently. We'll see her in the final later on. We have Mariana from Colombia back 1.5 somersaults pike on the 5-meter board. Solid finish for Mariana, showing us a beautiful back 1.5 somersaults pike. 6 to count. Lovely dive. Emily Collins in with 2.5 somersaults tuck on the 5-meter. This is Emily's hardest dive in her list, saving it for last. Making the dive really easy. Great jump out of the board. Just coming out a bit too late. Such a young, promising diver. We have Leah with her back 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist. Wow, beautiful dive there from Leah. Really showing us again, so consistent throughout. Honestly, consistency is one of the hardest things to learn in diving. And already at this age, she's showing incredible courage and skill. Yep. Maya Jane from Canada, back 2.5 somersaults tuck on the 7-meter board. Solid back 2.5 tuck from Maya. Really high jump. Just maybe coming out of their dive a little bit late, ever so slightly. We have Amanda Brightsmith representing Peru. In with 2.5 somersaults tuck. Nice finish there for Amanda. Really strong takeoff. Just losing a spot on the end, going over. Congratulations. So much experience gained for all the divers involved. That's the end of the Girls B platform prelim. That was a long one. Congratulations to the top 12. The top 12 will be progressing through to the final. Wow. See there's a lot of changes there from last round. Some people creeping up. That's the beautiful thing with diving. It's not over till it's over. We will see them all in the final later on. Thank you very much for tuning in. And we'll see you soon.